Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of your Sunday favorite program, Press Hour. On Press Hour today, we're going to discuss things that are very extraordinary. On the last Thursday of last month, that is October, while Cameroonians were waiting for the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion-Ngute, to call his ministers around his table and tell them that what have you done, what is the plan of action, what have you done during the month. He summoned them at the table for something else, not the normal cabinet meeting that we know. He called their attention, especially the competent ministers, on what has become unbearable. Unbearable by the citizens, unbearable even by government, that roads that Cameroonians think that is the way to development were decaying not only in the rural areas but also in the towns and cities of the country. And the Prime Minister, Head of Government, told those who are concerned that the potholes, gullies that had become the practice, the eyesore of every town and city, should stop. They should sit up and take their responsibility, fill the potholes. Roads, Cameroonians always say, with roads, development follows. And we had that. We have observed over the week, 1 week after, and these potholes are being filled in some places with mud, with soil, and with some loose concrete. Is it just a temporal, or it is going to be a permanent solution that he suggested to them? We are going to look at that in today's edition of Press Hour. But of course, it's 41 years of the New Deal government in Cameroon. We're going to look at the achievements and also the challenges. You see, you could not just go away. Those are the type of issues you want discussed on your favorite program, Press Hour. To talk about these things, we have one of us. I'm going to start with the journalist who is by my left. Richard Ndé-Lajong is the publisher of the Herald Tribune newspaper. You're welcome. I hope you were in Bamenda at the weekend. You had a safe drive back to Yaoundé. No problem with roads.
If I say there's no, good afternoon, televiewers. If I say there's no problem on the highway, then I should be telling lies to Cameroonians, because the stretch, just even inside this town of Bamenda, moving around Bamenda town is not as easy as one would think. And then if you move between Welcome to Bamenda right up to Mile 12 in Santa, it is also another nightmare. In fact, we had to get stuck in one of the spots for over 30 minutes because of the deviation that was done, and cars got stuck there. We had to waste about 30 minutes. And we had another experience, same at around Babaju, where cars came and got stuck because of a deviation. But after Babaju up to Yaoundé, until you get to I think Kometu, I think it's a smooth drive. But once you enter the town, the city of Yaoundé, it's another nightmare, to say the least.
Richard, did the PM, Head of Government, had to come out and talk to whistleblowers that you are, the pressmen, that he is the one calling the attention of people who are supposed to do these roads? Why journalists are enjoying their papers? What are you writing about? You don't write about it.
The PM is only coming after journalists have been whistleblowing. There have been many publications, many newscasts on the deplorable states of our road, especially in the heart of Yaoundé. I remember one of the newspapers, the Guardian Post, some times ago published, described this deplorable situation of our road as a national shame, especially in the capital of Yaoundé, that it is very difficult for you to move around. Another newspaper came up, it's a French newspaper, I can't recall the name, had to, actually state that between JP Melen to Carrefour Obili you can count more than 300 potholes.
Thank you very much. It's not yet the debate, it's just the introduction, but I could not go without asking you these questions. If any newspaper described it as a national shame, everybody takes responsibility, including all of us, the newsmen and women, who probably don't do our job well.
That's
because
right.
Our primary role is to be the link between the governed and those who are governed. Yes, and I would like to introduce you, Manju NSG, who is a businessman, contractor. You're welcome to Press R.
Welcome, Mr. Killian.
Yes.
Good afternoon, televiewers.
I should also ask you, you're a business person, also a contractor. When roads get bad, the way roads are built today, they get bad tomorrow, or even in the morning, they get bad in the evening. It's because of people who are business and contractors. In short, the category, people under the category you fall.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think the responsibility of the road is the state. And when the roads are not in good condition, it disturbs us as business people. Normally, the roads are supposed to be awarded to contractors. I don't know. Some are awarded, they are not done. Some are not awarded.
Thank you very much. Which means that when they are not done, first of all, if you have the responsibility to do the roads, to build the roads, and you don't build as a contractor, you share that responsibility. And we have our own, through Jonathan, who is chargé de mission for the Central Committee of the CPDM, Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. You're welcome to Press R.
Thank you, Killian. It's my pleasure to be with you once more on Press Hour.
Yes, we still talking about road. We know you're going to tell us the achievements of the New Deal. When we're talking about the New Deal, you're going to tell us we're talking about 41 years of President Paul Biya in power in Cameroon. But you are an official in Cameroon, and you generally some of you have courtesy cars. When there are bombs on the way, that's not your issue. It is not problem to you. That should be your situation.
Well, I think the question of bad roads, which we're addressing this morning or this afternoon, is a big problem. A big problem not only to me, but to all Cameroonians, because when the roads are bad, it has a very serious impact on our economy. It is generally said when the road passes, development follows. Now, when there's no road, then we expect development to be retarded too. But we think that it is a collective responsibility.
Exactly.
There are various actors involved. The government is there, but they are the contractors, as you say, who are equally involved with trying to arrange our roads. Some of them do very bad jobs, and these roads, which don't last for long, they get bad again. So if the matter has to be addressed by the Prime Minister today himself, it means that it's a serious problem.
Very, very serious.
And we think that all the actors have to sit up.
Yes.
Those involved, be them at the level of ministry, at the local councils, the contractors, everyone has to sit up.
Yes, and some of us who have small cars, old cars, and who also go on foot. From time to time, I hear them saying that some of those cars, big cars that people of your category and the rest in government and the rest, they should also have those small cars. From time to time, the big cars should be taken away from them. Then they are given small cars so that they test what it takes to move on those roads.
I don't think it's a matter of car or big car or small car. I think the road is for everyone to use. We have small cars, we have big cars, we have even trucks that ply the roads. What is important is that the roads should be well built. Those who are building the roads should do the work according to prescription. The ministry, like the Ministry of Public Contracts that is in charge of controlling the work, should do their job to control, to ensure.
We will get there. Thank you very much. You don't want to ride in a small car. I know that's why you don't want to talk about that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time we're going to invite Emmanuel Avemnu to give us what the press was feeding on in the past week. Press review is next.
and still is apparently. In the middle of the decentralization process, councils say they lack funds needed for road repairs and construction.
We lack the means. With a little more, we will do more.
Yaoundé's mayors attest having done only what they have been given the powers to do thus far, financially speaking.
We are asking that the 15% of national budget allocated to councils in line with decentralization be ceded to them.
These excuses fall on deaf ears, given the population's routine ordeals with bad roads.
The council should help us arrange the inside road to ease our way to reach the main road.
I'm more than 22 years in this quarter. The mayor who put this Dixie Road, he said he's putting the tar, yellow tar or whatever tar being. A tar is a black tar.
Take the case of the Carrefour-Saucier-Tongolo stretch.
This is a shortcut. Mangue, Elikijwa, this is a shortcut. L'Hôpital General.
The mayors say in November, when the challenge of the rains would be over, many road contracts are expected to take off.
Nous avons passé des marchés.
We have signed the contracts and works will begin in 15 days, according to prescriptions of the Ministry of Public Works, as no works happen in the rainy season.
Parce que c'est la fin des pluies.
The people dismiss this saying some work could still be done in the rainy season to open access roads.
Nous ne pouvons pas louer chez les prestataires.
We cannot just go rent machines for repair works. We have to sign contracts first.
Yaoundé's 7 councils seem to be taking the shots from the population quite seriously and are planning to build an equipment pool for light repairs on the city's bad roads.
Thank you very much, Beatrice Lo Samba. We were talking about roads. I know that's why we've had that report before having the press review. If we have press review by Emmanuel Avemnu, it's always our kicker on Press R. If we have that report on what the press was feeding on in the past week by Emmanuel Avemnu, then please let us have it. We're going to come back to that press review. It's at the raison d'etre of Press R, but we can go ahead now with our discussion on the roads and the situation. As you started saying, it's very, very serious, and it is in towns like it is in the rural areas. So, what is the problem? Beginning with you, Richard.
The problem, by my understanding, is the lack of goodwill by even those who award this contract. There is usually no follow-up, and even when work is done by contractors, the first thing is how much is that contract worth, and how much is the contractor using? You know, when there's always this issue of giving to the lowest bidder, who will even try, I mean, you have a percentage to give before the contract is awarded to you. These are some of the consequences. The contractor will take that type of maybe 100 million to do a route of about 10 kilometers, and before he's done, he has spent about 30 million francs giving envelopes here and there in order to get the contract, and he has probably 50 million to execute that road. You don't expect him to carry out a good job. Again, our municipal authorities, I think they should be given responsibility. But unfortunately, we are in a situation where if you pass in front of some municipal councils, the stretch of road around there is something that is terrible, that you don't imagine that this is the road leading to a council. I give, for example, the road leading to the city council in Bamenda. It is almost like a cow path. It's almost like a cow path. That's the road leading to the city council. It is not maintained. There are potholes, there's grass, everything about that area is bad. So you now think of what is happening in the quarters. In the road leading to my own house, if you get to Rendezvous Junction, to get to Ngomgam, you need maybe you can take 2 hours to drive within a short distance of about 1 kilometer.
Yes,
because the authorities,
yes,
those who are supposed to carry out this road maintenance or construction, have not done their job. Again, Killian, we have about 3 or 4 departments in charge of roads. We have urban development, we have public works, we have the municipal councils, we have the city councils, and now we have the regional assemblies. They all have budget to maintain road. And when there is that conflict on who is doing what, at the end of the day, nobody does anything. When you go to this one, he blames this one. You go to and say, no, it is not within my competence. You go to this, he says it's not within my competence. The other day, I saw, on Friday, I saw gravel that had been placed on the stretch from Veterinary Junction to Ayaba, being carried away because the city mayor came in an attempt that he wants to rehabilitate the road, to tar the road. And the delegate of public works says, no, this road is a national road. It's not within your competence. So you see, there's always that misplaced priorities. You don't know what to do at what time and where.
Yes, just to let you know that you're talking about Bamenda because you're from Bamenda, but this, what we are saying, is a national problem with what the report we saw there
in Yaoundé.
And we have similar situations in other areas. But let us remark that some of the competencies within the framework of decentralization are actually being devolved to the local authorities. People are saying it's not actually that, but the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development gives to each of the 10 city councils in Cameroon 285 million CFA francs every year. Gives to subdivisional and councils 100 million CFA francs. We also have some competencies by the Ministry of Public Works that gives 27 million CFA francs to each council around the country.
For road maintenance?
Yes, for roads and some other things. So we don't understand. That's why I was asking you that with all this money, can it not be used to rehabilitate, not construct? That is what we were talking about.
Killian, let me get before you give him the microphone.
I will come back to you. Let me get their reaction.
The truth is, like you said, Richard of the Herald should be talking about Bamenda because he comes from Bamenda. Myself, I also come from Bamenda.
No, his newspaper is a national newspaper. Yes, go ahead.
We use that as an example. There is that conflict. This specific area he's talking of, that is Gang Junction, Ayaba. It has become a spot where these two authorities are conflicting, or I don't know. They are only struggling to arrange this part of the route. The regional delegate will do it in the next 3 months. The city council comes in. After 3 months, the delegate. After another 4 months, the city council comes. While the town is a big town. What about the other areas?
Thank you very much.
Now, coming to what you're talking about, the roads, national. The issue, this road issue is, the people who are doing the execution should take it. Let me ask you, Mr. Killian, if you're in your house, because they ask you to clean your house, you will not do it well because they're not giving you money.
Answer that question.
That is the problem. The contractors, most of them, when the job is given, why do you have to use money, as Richard is saying, to get a job, and then you start fumbling with it? You need to do your what the phenomenon called your DV well, so that you execute the job well.
You budget it well.
Now let me ask you, if a job is given to you and you do it well, that road is normally has to take about 10 years. But now if you do the work and it takes 2 years, you give the burden to the government.
That is what we are talking about. Yes, your reaction on that.
Well, I think this problem, we have to be very careful when looking at it, because the problem has several actors involved and several stages. It's good to identify, you've asked the question, what is the problem? It's good that we'll be able to identify who are those involved and what they have to do and know whether they do their jobs. You know, a road contract, like any other contract, starts at the level of studies. You have to carry out the studies before you go ahead to award the contract. If the studies are not properly carried out, you will not be able to know the exact amount. You may give the wrong figure for the road, and the contractor will not be able to execute. When the studies are well carried out, the contract has to be properly awarded to, which means that those in charge of award must have to select the best bidder, the company that has experience. If you don't select the company that has experience, then you will not expect your roads to be well done. Now, at the level of execution, the job must be controlled. There are services that are in charge of controlling to be sure that this work is well done. Now, how does it happen that a road is started and a few months afterwards the road is already bad? It means that maybe the control was poorly done. The contractor has to do his job according to prescription. Very few contractors really do a job well. Most of them go and try to maximize profit, and they reduce the amount which has to be put on the project itself. Somebody talks about corruption. It's true, but corruption is on both sides. There is the person being corrupted and the person who is corrupting.
Yeah.
So it is not a matter of the public servant, but the person who even pushes him to accept the corruption. Okay. So we should avoid that, you understand? And now even the population has to cooperate when we have to carry out these projects. We know of cases today where our roads projects are blocked. This is the case of like North Roads and South Roads today, where because of crisis, the contractor is unable to execute his job. So we need the population to collaborate to be able to carry out this project. So if we have to address this issue, all these actors have to be touched to ensure that each actor does just what he has to do. It's not a question of council or whoever. Even if there is some confusion, as the others have said here on the field, where each person or the various actors, council, the ministries, have to do the same thing. The truth is that they have some budgets that have been put at their disposal. What do they do with this money?
That is a question.
They must be able to invest. If they do invest, each person invests the money that's put at their disposal, the roads will be done. So we can't keep the money aside and say it's not my responsibility. How did you come up with a budget just up to having some money put at your disposal for the job?
And exactly that's why just last week, I should say this week, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of the Supreme State Audit Control was in Bamenda to educate mayors on the money that they are using. They should use, because when he starts going out there to do that, then verification will follow. So they have to put this money into use. You talk so much about Bamenda, and earlier we knew you were coming to talk about Bamenda, and we talked with the city mayor of Bamenda, Mr. Paul Chombong, who is going to tell us exactly what's the situation of roads in Bamenda. Let us listen to him.
Projects in the city council area, and these road projects were actually envisaged to be executed by certain funders. We had I call it the Bamenda Ring Road, not the Northwest Ring Road, the Bamenda Ring Road, which is a major road aspect of Bamenda. It was programmed to be executed and funded by the World Bank. Regrettably, in the opinion of the people of Bamenda, this road was to be a 2-lane of about 7 meters per lane. But we thought we've come of age, and so we couldn't be settling for a road that is 14 meters, and we opted for a 30-meter double lane road that is 15 meters both ways. And we raised this argument with the Minister of Public Works, and he took it up with government, he took it up with the World Bank, and I'm glad to inform the entire people of Bamenda that this 30-meter road which we've been clamoring for has been approved, and the contract is on the way. And I'm sure from the words I heard from the Minister of Public Works, the roads will surely be executed this before the rains in the year 2024. The works will start.
Thank you very much. You were talking about Bamenda. Richard, you are assured by the city mayor of Bamenda that
that's the same assurance he has been given for the past 3 years.
It is not. You cannot take it personal.
No, it's not personal.
Yeah.
I mean, we're saying things. It's not me saying it. He said it. He has been saying this to transform Bamenda into Abu Dhabi. And where are we today? Go there and see. Have we even moved an inch?
You know that Bamenda is in crisis.
No, it is not.
Mr. Flo Jonathan said
let us not use the crisis, Killian.
We are not using the crisis. Do we have crisis or we don't have crisis?
We have crisis, but let us not use crisis to justify wrong things.
Second thing,
yeah,
is Bamenda better today or worse than when he took it up? Let us be very sincere. It's better, right?
In terms, no,
it's better. Generally speaking, it's better. So
no.
Yeah, it's better. Don't be ashamed.
Everything about it now is worse than we had it more than 3 years ago.
Well,
within the crisis,
you didn't
anyway, I'm sure we'll be talking about garbage. I don't want to go into that now.
Talking about garbage, which is also a national problem. You raise it. We're going to talk about it. And let me go back to the city mayor of Bamenda and ask him what the situation of garbage disposal is like out there. Yes, city mayor.
The situation is actually getting to a redressable position. I would like to say that when the crisis broke up in Bamenda, the separatists were not very, very comfortable seeing Exakam do this garbage cleaning work. So very, very often they burned their trucks, they ambushed their workers, killed some of them, and even those whom they could not kill, they took for ransom. Exakam was obliged to leave town. We at the city council, we thought it wise and we pleaded with Exakam to no avail. So we sought out some local hands which we used in the cleaning of the garbage on the bill of Exakam. Regrettably, to this day, Exakam has not been able to pay those bills. But nevertheless, from other sources, we managed to keep some of them off our neck. Now we launched a call for an international call to tender for the cleaning of the garbages in Bamenda, and companies tendered. The Empire Groups of Company won. And as we speak, they were finding their feet on the ground. But to this day, as I can record to you, they are fully engaged in the cleaning process. And if you happen to visit the Bamenda streets, the heaps of garbages which are sometimes littering along the streets have all been carried away. So I can assure you, they are kicking and they are moving, and the garbages on our ways are being cleared.
Thank you very much, the city mayor of Bamenda. And we have you, Manjo NSG. You're one of the local hands, business persons, contractor that he took, and suppose you did a good job.
Thank you once more, Mr. Killian. The issue here is when an authority is telling us that Bamenda is an order when it comes to garbage. And I can testify here, if you get down to the streets in Bamenda, you'll be ashamed. I took over this job. I went to him, asked him that I really want to clean the town. The town was horrible. It was abandoned by Exakam, and then later on the military tried, couldn't work.
Because of the crisis.
Because of the crisis.
Underline that.
Yes. Now, I contacted some youths. We agreed that we could do it. We could clean the town. Because at that time, cholera was next door in Bafoussam. That epidemic, you remember at that time. He accepted. We took over the job. And if you can remember, when the Secretary General is just from Bamenda.
Yes, of the Central
The last
Committee
time he visited Bamenda before, last week, the town was in order. This is a party card, he can testify. But to this day, what is happening? Since we left the cleaning of the town till this moment, what is happening?
Yes,
now
before you continue, I want us to not to make it a Bamenda affair. When you move around Yaoundé, for example, when you go to Douala, and when you go to some other towns, we cry every day that the town should be clean, that the garbage should be disposed. We cannot make it a Bamenda affair. The question I ask you is, when you had that contract, did you do a good job?
A perfect job, of course.
Why did you abandon?
Well, I had some differences with him. Till this date, the money that was owed has not been paid. But he claims he has paid me off. And the reason why he sent me away, I abandoned the job because that which I was supposed to use, and maybe to continue the job, is not paid. How can I be using my resources?
He paid you 10 million savings.
10 million from 60-something million. What is that?
But he says the job, they are waiting for part of that money from Izakam, and Izakam has not paid.
That is not the issue.
What is the issue?
The issue is what Izakam gave to him. Where did it end? The first installment. Was he not supposed to clear us? He was supposed to clear us, and we continue, knowing that if Izakam has to come in again, have you find out from Izakam whether they have some money to give him?
No, we trust him because he says it hasn't come, so we can only trust him.
The issue, Mr. Killian, here is we should not take what we have to do in town like something we want to sell and have money. I took up on that job. The risk involved, nobody knew that I would succeed because people made attempts and they were killed.
You succeeded. Thank you for cleaning our town, your town.
Good. Now why do I have to drop? Or why is it that I was dropped? Because they don't want to pay my money.
No, we also know that in Cameroon, when you do a public contract, it takes time.
No, it was not a contract because Izakam has the monopoly or has a contract to clean Bamenda for 5 years. And because Izakam could not do the job because of the crisis, I came in, opted. He knows how he talked with Izakam, and Izakam accepted that I should go ahead, knowing that they will pay me on that meager sum. We started the work, and I don't know if
we agree. What we want to know here is, yes, you did a good job.
Yeah.
That's why he paid you, right? And he paid you through legal arrangements.
He partly paid me.
Well, and you signed before a lawyer that you have received this amount of money. That is true.
The issue at that time was he, the city mayor, threatened me. If you don't take the money, go to any court, law court. And I couldn't because one,
not a threat.
I had the pleasure.
You to court. It's not actually a threat.
I can't go to court when I don't have legal papers.
No, somebody who sends you to court is not threatening you. Is telling you that you should go and seek legal redress.
Mr. Killian.
Yes.
You have 30 trucks drivers that you owing them, for example, 30 million.
Yes.
1 million each. Mm-hmm. They are watching and looking at you. Somebody, you have about 60 million, as I'm saying, or 30 million. Somebody comes and gives you 10 million. They know because he had informed them that they are going to give you 10 million. Now, if you don't take the 10 million, you go out there What do you tell them? That you refuse the money,
You
and
did
how
well.
did they continue?
To me, you did well. Instead of crying out here, you should just go back and re-engage to get the rest of the money.
I want to tell you here
Okay.
that this is
Yes.
an elite of Bamenda.
He wants to say something. Let him say something before I come back to you.
Well, Killian, I
Yes,
would just like saying,
we still have to talk about the achievements of
Yes,
the new deal.
that-
So in 2 minutes, please.
well, I just think that the problem of garbage disposal is a general problem. It's not a problem specific to Bamenda. And what I observe is that the case of a town like Yaoundé and Douala is particular because these are the towns that represent our country. Anyone who visits Cameroon goes first to Yaoundé and to Douala. The situation is not a very comfortable one, and as you see the Prime Minister taking the bull by the horn, it is something which we have to make sure that those involved do their job.
Exactly.
It needs the actors, we have already said here, those who are involved, the local councils, the city mayors, and so on, they should do their job. And the population too should equally help. I've seen cases where the dustbin is kept somewhere and people
And
go and
on the
drop
ground.
their dirt on the ground and litter the whole street. We've seen cases where people eat and throw the dirt out of the windows of their cars and so on. I think it is a problem which has to be addressed. Yaoundé should get the image it had before, a beautiful town which can attract even tourists and other who want to visit should feel comfortable with our towns.
Thank you very much, and we are pleading and going back to the Prime Minister to follow up what he has started so well, and this has been appreciated across the board, to be very frank, the move that he took, and you would not imagine CRTV just took on the heels of the meeting that he had, and that's what we've been talking about. Let me just finish with Ernest. What is your appeal now?
Well, my appeal first is for my hometown to be clean.
Yes.
And I'm appealing to the authorities in place that this issue of garbage, especially as per Yaoundé, I've seen some people struggling, and I see they are really trying to do something. They are not perfect, but they are trying to do something. Mm-hmm. Now, if that could also be done in my own hometown, it would be better.
Now,
and then the authority in charge should not be dishonest. That's the first thing. When we are honest, things will go smoothly. When you are dishonest, things will not work. That's the truth in life.
We can't give him that because he has assured us, and since we've heard your appeal, we're going to get his own appeal. The city mayor, that will be the last thing we'll ask him. What do you appeal to people? What do you want Bamenda to look like? The city mayor of Bamenda?
This opportunity to inform each and everyone who resides in Bamenda that Bamenda belongs to all of us. And the same way Cameroon belongs to all of us. So whether you come from whatever part of the world, you are an Abakwa boy. Whether you come from wherever you're from, you are in Bamenda, and you have a duty and a responsibility to contribute to the development and the well-being of Bamenda and every other person who dwells in. We have a collective responsibility. It's not the business of the city mayor, neither is it the business of the state. It is a collective business. I appeal and humbly hope that one day Bamenda will return to the place where it used to be, where people move around in and out day and night freely without any fear of molestation.
Thank you very much. I think that I believe in what he's saying. Why I say this is because there is no official who is responsible for any locality who wants that place to fail or who wants to fail in their duty. Well, whether they have difficulties they could have surmounted or not, what I know is that he will gain more points, he will gain more credit if he succeeds in his mission as city mayor. We are going to move on to something else. But
just give me a minute.
Yes, just 1 minute, please.
Yes, Killian.
You're not going to drag us back.
Yes, it's true. I think with the situation of roads and garbage in our cities, the authorities, the local authorities, should really sit up, because they're punishing the population, and the population, like the director said, should collaborate, should be able to be responsible, not to dump the garbage on the floor, on the roadside, go put it inside the trash cans. I think the Minister of Urban Development, because most of these things are centered around her ministry, urban roads and garbage, centered around her ministry. Yaoundé in particular should be taken care of. It is the capital of this country, which brings in so many people.
Thank you.
And when they come and see the state of our roads,
it's not good
I think it's not good for us. It's not a good image that they paint for our country.
Thank you very much. We're going to talk about the 41 years of New Deal, but if we have the press review that we have not had from the beginning of this program, we would like to use that as transition to talk about the 41st edition of the New Deal in power. Do we have the press review ready now? Okay. We are told that we can have that from our machines, but what I know is that we prepared for it. Emanuela did that report. We're moving to 41 years of the New Deal government in Cameroon, and we have two angles we have to handle. The first one to you, Mr. Fru Jonathan. You are chargé de mission of the Central Committee of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CBDM. What are the hallmarks that we can give as achievements of the New Deal government?
Thank you very much, Kilian. We're talking of the achievements of the CPDM and the achievement of President Paul Biya, the chairman of the party, within 41 years. I don't know, the time will not permit me to go into details, but I think people have asked the question, do you need to celebrate? And we say yes, we have to celebrate, because we are celebrating achievements. We are celebrating a positive balance sheet of President Paul Biya. We all know that when a leader takes power, what he does is he gives us his vision, he gives us his political program, and we can evaluate and be able to judge whether he has succeeded or he has failed. So if we look at the vision of President Paul Biya, which he expressed in 1982 when he took over power, it was clear. He said he was going to liberalize our country, democratize this country. He said he was going to bring economic growth to our country, economic and social growth. He was going to defend and protect the unity and integrity of this country. He was even going to defend our image at the international level. This, you can look at this vision which he presented. And we are now 41 years back afterwards. We need to see what happened in 1982.
Let's take from all those pillars, those pillars that you have given, and I agree, because I spoke with one of your colleagues in the party who talked of independence is one, national unity, sovereignty, as you rightly say, is one, democracy is another, defense and security is diversification and partnership on international scene. Yes, you want to start with.
We may not be able to talk about all, but let me give you the most visible ones.
Yes.
Let's talk about public liberties and democracy.
Yeah.
You understand that in 1982, when President Paul Biya took over office, there were no public liberties in this country. We know that even the journalists, could not talk freely. There was press censorship by the ministry and so on. Today, you talk freely. We are talking here, each person expressing himself. Others going as far as even insulting the head of state on television, on press, without any problem. That means that we have total press freedom in Cameroon. When we look at democracy, he said he shall be remembered as the one who brought democracy to this country. And I think that is effective, because Cameroon is today an example of a democracy. And how do you evaluate that? In 1982, we had one political party in this country. Today, we have more than 250 political parties. You can't say that that country is not democratic. We had a system of election. Formally, at that period, was wooden ballot boxes, elections controlled by government. Today, we have transparent boxes. We have a modern biometric system that manages our elections. We have an independent body that manages elections. So in that domain, I think we can say that's one of the greatest achievements, because without democracy, how will the country develop?
Yes, thank you. Hold on that. We're going to lead you to another one, but I want Richard Ndeh, who is a pressman, a publisher. Some of us can come up here and say certain things that we will not say before 1990. That's what Fru Jonathan is saying. That's freedom of the press.
Yes, we have freedom of the press, Killian. Well, let us give thanks to President Paul Biya that he brought the freedom of the press. But if we look at it deeply, is the press really free in this country? Because we have journalists who have been jailed, who have been, for exercising their duty, for doing their job. We have some of them in prison because they were doing their job and they have been sent to jail.
If you do your job wrong,
so if the press,
be allowed free?
If the press was really that free, I think they still, it's like you sell a goat and you're still holding the rope. We are still being monitored. That is why at the start of the crisis, there was an embargo. There was that you don't mention certain names in your newspaper or on air. You know, you were restricted.
Now, let me ask you sincerely, as a pressman, one of the facets, what we can call elements of democracy, is the rule of law. The rule of law means that even a journalist who commits a crime by way of their speech or what they have written should face the law. Are you saying a journalist should not go to prison if he breaks the law?
I'm not saying that the journalist should not go to prison if he breaks the law, but then, you know, most of the things that journalists have been investigating, some are being silent. For investigating corruption within an institution, they are being silenced, they are being taken to court, because the thing that by exposing that institution, it's given that maybe the general manager or whoever is concerned a bad name. So they look for ways to harm you, to make
that
sure.
That is not the state. That is an individual.
Well, but it's the same thing. No, it's about press freedom, because press
should
freedom
not be confused with anarchy.
Yes.
You understand?
That, yes.
And if you say they take the journalist to court, it's been normal. We have an independent judicial system. The journalist has the opportunity to take a lawyer to defend him in court, which means that we are in a free society. So we should not confuse press freedom and anarchy. It doesn't mean that you can say anything, you can insult. If some others, like the head of state, can forgive, tolerate some journalists, there are people who will not tolerate what they say, what they write. Even the caricature they put in papers on the head of state, they are unacceptable. But it still goes as part of our the freedom, the press freedom that the president envisaged in this when he took over.
NS, something?
Yeah, just like Tumfo is saying, we have law in this country. You can't be a journalist and you just say anything because there's press freedom. Now, if you, the Herald, you insult me, I can't keep quiet. If you insult the head of state and he tolerates it, don't think that you insult me. I'll take it to court. And if you can defend yourself in court, you are set free. But if you can't, you should be sent to
now
prison.
let us look at the next achievement.
Well, we're talking about economic growth. And here I said there are some indicators that we can examine, like infrastructure. It's true that we're talking about the state of our roads, but we should accept that if you look at our road infrastructure in 1982 and in 2023, there is a big evolution. You have examples. I'll give you just one example. You can move from Bamenda to Boya to Douala through Manfe on tar roads. This had never been imagined at that time. There are other examples you can.
Were we supposed to remain backward in the Stone Age when you look at that development?
We are talking about achievements. That's why I have to tell you that there are achievements.
Okay.
We are talking of roads, we are talking of energy. We're talking of the various dams have been built. You know, a country cannot develop without road infrastructure, cannot develop without energy. The President probably envisaged that, and that is what is happening. You can see the energy situation with the number of dams that have been constructed in our country today. We can talk about the social development, like in education and in public health. You will understand that today the situation, our situation in terms of education in 1982 and what we have in 2023 is this considerable progress made. Because the schools that have free education, the number of universities that we have, the amount we spend to sponsor our children is reasonable. We're talking about public health. If we look at the health situation in our country, it has considerably improved because health districts exist in every area, in the subdivisions, in the villages. We have health districts. We have reference hospitals, which didn't used to exist. Cameroonians used to travel to go and treat themselves out of the country. So those are just some few indicators in the economic social domain.
Let's look at some challenges. We have just 7 minutes to go to the end of this program. It could not have been without challenges, and those challenges we're just trying to look at them because that could help now to redress them and move forward. You talk about 1982. There is what so many people are questioning today, rigor and moralization that were like the stamp. And we still have corruption, which is not moral, which shows that morally we have not moved forward. We still have certain things that are done. For example, people insult him and they go free. The law should hold them. Rigor should come in. With some people are saying that we have not actually moved forward as it was supposed to be.
Corruption, you've just given an example, which we can talk about, which is a cankerworm that is affecting our country, not our country, but many countries. This is a problem which President Probia has addressed all through his mandate. And to address corruption, you have to put in place the framework, the institutions that can fight corruption. We have them in their numbers. We have CONAC, we have the Supreme State Control, we have ANIF. In fact, the President has multiplied these institutions as a way to fight corruption. You would admit to us that corruption is such a difficult, the war against corruption, such a difficult war. Why? Because it's not done in public. It's done between two persons. There's somebody corrupted and another person being corrupted. So, but we should admit that the corruption exists, but the President is doing everything, has put in place all the infrastructure to be able to face corruption in our country. And you discover that even most of those who are corrupt, who are involved with embezzlement, they are not in their homes. You know where they find them.
So many of them, high-profile people are in prison.
Of course, that is a way to ensure that we limit corruption.
Richard, before you react, I know you're itchy. They have something you want to say, but begin with what I want you to say. How can rigor and moralization, which goes into what the President also wrote, the liberal communalism. Liberalism, yes, communal liberalism. How can that be implemented where we are? Because with that, we know that the hand clap will be louder.
The first thing, we have the famous Article 66
of the Constitution.
Which
says
that those who hold up
that before you get into public office
you have
declare
to declare your assets, and after you leave office
you declare
until we implement that particular article. We will never really stamp out corruption in this country.
I am told that there are some people who declare because there's nowhere that is said that they should come and declare in the market square.
Well, I'm getting that from you. But then, so why is the corruption, why is it still on? Because somebody is appointed today, in 3 months' time, is either building a skyscraper somewhere. So where is he getting this money? You see, all these issues of kickbacks is because people feel that particular article has not been implemented. And then we need to, moral education in our school curriculum, religious knowledge should be taught.
It is taught.
Well, it is taught, but how helpful is it?
You
want to write a public exam, you are exempted. They ask you 2 papers excluding religious knowledge.
Okay.
So how does that help the person who has decided to take up religion as a subject and study it from once to opposite? He has an A grade in it, and he cannot write a public exams because that it is not accepted.
Yes.
So we think that we should actually, our society is morally decaying because some people don't have the conscience. They just do things with impunity. That let me do this thing, and after all, what is the next person coming to get?
Thank you.
So let me do it with impunity, and that is why we are having these bad roads. We are having garbage all over our towns because somebody doesn't care.
Thank you.
After all.
That will be your last word. Yes, your last word, please, Ernest.
Well, I do think this forum is a good forum for people to learn and to know that change is constant. When we talk like this, we don't have to go down there and do the work for anybody. People will now know that what they were supposed to do, they can now do it. I think that
All of us should be involved.
All of us should get down to the field, put pressure on some people too, for them to do the work. And when that work is done, I think that we will not have a problem. We'll be talking about something else rather than talking about these things.
Yes, Mr. Fru Jonathan, about your champion.
Well, I think we want to say the majority of Cameroonians, particularly CPDM militants, believe in our champion, is President Paul Biya, because what he has done for this country is visible. He's presented the best political program. That's why he's constantly being voted every year, and we know that all the militants expect him to continue to implement his vision. We just need to show love for our country. We said it here by knowing that we have to support our leaders. Leaders are chosen by God, not by man.
Authority comes from
when they are there, we should support our leaders. Each Cameroonian should know that for Cameroon to succeed, each one has to do his own job. We should not spend more time accusing others. We should ask ourselves what
feel their presence
have we done at our levels. If we do our jobs,
Thank you.
I think there will be no problem.
Thank you very much, and that is where we come to the end of today's edition of Press Hour. Thank you very much, Mr. Fru Jonathan. You are chargé de mission, the Cameroon People Democratic Movement Central Committee. Thank you very much, Manjo Ernest Chi, business person. This should be the first time you're coming to Press Hour. We are glad to have you. Thank you, our own Richard Lajon, yes, who is the publisher of the Herald Tribune newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching. But if you missed out on anything, you have a rebroadcast of this program on Monday at 2:30.